All right, 10 days of coding with AI. I've been doing this like 2 a.m. to 8 a.m. shift where I can program a little bit. First, let me just show what I've made. This first prototype was this highlights reviewer. It's kind of like recreating what is in Readwise. I use Readwise to like store my Kindle highlights and then export it to different things like Obsidian, Evernote, Notion, whatever the note-taking app of the day is for me. So I exported that as a CSV file, which is nice. They allow you to export as a CSV. Then I wanted to make a front end for that just as like something to make, because the main thing I wanted to do was play with cursor. So first I was able to, just get it to do this layout as a single scrollable page. And then I wanted to make a focused view for reviewing one at a time. And what would have taken way longer without AI is reading and filtering the CSV file. I would probably have to search, look for a couple libraries, try out a couple libraries, learn again how to do package management and do those installs properly. I wouldn't have thought to just use the CDN version of the CSV library. What it made very, very easy is filtering. I was able to just, based on this highlighted date column, sort it that way, and then show me the most recent 1,000. But for it to just be able to do that in, seconds, that was awesome. Night number 2, continuing on with the highlights, I thought, what if I just like put my webcam behind it as a background? Why would anyone want to do that? So I have a different channel where I'm making shorts. Something that I do is usually I'll bring in book highlights, and I thought this would be a quick way for me to make these book highlights. Shorts where I could just have my webcam going and then I could face the camera, swipe through highlights until I found one, record that, and then be able to post that. And I did do this, but the one issue was that the webcam wouldn't just refresh kind of slowly. A nice thing though, I don't know if it's like visible here, but it's this like dot grid pattern, like a filter on the video. So this was nice to do. I think I was using P5.js. That might be one of the bigger advantages of using cursor, is that it makes it very quick to try out different libraries to do things. So I just said, I want a 2-tone dot grid pattern on this webcam. I learned that you can't use your webcam on localhost if it's not served over HTTPS. It's just something I didn't know. In the past, I imagine, and learned I set up and run HTTPS server, I might have quit in the past, where here I was able to just say like, okay, what do I need to do that? And then it said you can do it with a simple server with Python, set this up. And I think I got it up and running in 5 to 10 minutes. That's what it felt like. I could imagine that taking much, much longer in the past. I saved a ton of time there. Prototype 3, this was continuing on with this highlights theme. Instead of the webcam, I had a space where I could just draw and doodle underneath it. As you're learning to use these tools, depending on like your experience with coding, one of the main things is just understanding like what's feasible on the platform. So if you're doing web, I kind of knew I could do a webcam, but I didn't realize, I'll just be able to like put that on a canvas and set it as the background. And then with drawing with a tablet, I haven't had to like come across drawing with a tablet. So I didn't know that was part of, I guess, like the base browser API. I don't know like exactly what the phrase is. So night 4, I was switching over to iOS. I have experience with the web, so felt comfortable. I felt like I was able to look at the code, make sense of it, pretty comfortable with HTML, CSS, somewhat with JavaScript. So I can look at it and understand what it does. Moving to iOS, I've heard people say like, oh, cursor means you don't have to type all this stuff in manually, but it's not like that was exactly the case before these tools. It would be starting with at least sample code. And working from there. And then there's so many like libraries and packages and things scaffolded out, and they were already being generated. It wasn't generated by an LLM. Working on this iOS highlights, this was pretty much the same thing, where I wanted to get the highlights going with a CSV file. The CSV library, it wasn't as good at turning my natural language description to filtered CSV. I don't know if it's just the library or if it's because it was Swift and maybe cursor's better with web. Not sure what it was, but I was having a little bit of a harder time adding a search bar, filtering to the highlights that I wanted. But the benefit was the interactions were smoother, the animations were smoother. Doing a native shader was much smoother. Number 5 was trying to add shaders as the background here. Still the same app, messing around with highlights. I wanted to take the book cover and then create a background and manipulate it with shaders. Thing is, I don't know like metal at all. I had some idea at least that like, oh, okay, if I want to do this, I know I want to use shaders. And then I was able to ask, can I do this with metal and apply it to this image? That worked. Then I tried to add a webcam view as well. That was a big dead end for me. Just spent a bunch of time trying to debug that. That was the best example I had where I saw like the limits of using AI tools, but not having the foundation to actually debug and fix things on my own. I figured it was just a child element. It wasn't resizing properly to the parent container. It always felt like it was just a few lines away to fix, but I was trying over and over. This is where it's being a little too dependent on the AI. I would just like say like, oh, try this. Oh, try this. I would just like keep going in circles basically. And I never got it working actually. I never was able to get it where the webcam would shrink to like the parent container size. I figure it's like something basic, but I just didn't have the knowledge to fix it. Prototype 6, so this wasn't really coding at all, but I was watching a bunch of AI tools videos on YouTube. Over and over, I would see like ComfyUI for image generation. I'd played with Midjourney before. I've played with automatic 11111 for stable diffusion, but this was interesting to see like nodes. This was a rabbit hole, just trying to get this to run, installing Python, installing this, then trying to get any example to run. I knew it was going to take a while, and it did. Eventually got it to work, and that was pretty satisfying, but also it seemed like a bit of a distraction. At some point, I do want to like dive deeper into this, but I had just been playing with like Blender geometry nodes a few months ago. It's a commitment to understand these node editing tools. It feels like I'm just copying and pasting examples and making small modifications. I guess that's what I was doing with code anyway. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I'll definitely get back to it. But back to the prototypes. Prototype 7, this Figma plugins. I kind of have a sense of what the Figma API can do, playing with other plugins. And I think this is what AI is good for. Tiny tools to solve your own problems. This would not be a popular plugin in the Figma store. Sometimes I use Figma to make videos, to make shorts, and I will just make a bunch of frames and then I have to manually connect them from left to right just to smart animate. I made a script that I run with the scripter plugin that allows you to automatically connect those frames. This would have taken much longer if I didn't have Cursor to help. This might have been one of the more useful things that I made. Prototype 8, this vertical card builder. I wanted to be able to write a script as a paragraph. At first I was just like, oh, I just want to view it as a bulleted list for when I want to read out and record the script. And I started with that. Then I thought, oh, what if I have cards? Then I thought, oh, what if I actually just have the image background as well? And then it will have the captions on it. This is, again, where it was nice to have the knowledge of what's possible on the web. I knew that I can just paste something from my clipboard onto another thing. There's plenty of like web apps that instead of having to look up how to do that, I said something like, when a card is selected, allow me to paste an image as the background. And then it sort of just worked. But the first thing that it generated for putting the captions on the images was the Snapchat style text. So I thought, oh, what if I make a grid of other styling options? And it was able to do that pretty quickly. And then this had a presentation mode. Actually, I did actually like make one short with this and posted that. It's very satisfying to use your own tools. Ultimately, a lot of the time, most of these prototypes, I would make it and then realize, you know what, the existing tools are totally fine. The great thing about that is I didn't spend that much time to make this version of the tool. So there was not that much time to build it, to realize this isn't something I need to really like polish. I can throw it away and I don't feel like I've wasted all this time. Prototype 9, the previous one was for writing short scripts. I wanted to have a long script writer. I like to write in different sections. Oftentimes what will happen is one section will get like way too long when I haven't even finished the other sections. So I made this prototype to set a word count on different fields, just to give me an indicator. It doesn't restrict me from going beyond, but once it hits 100 words, then that box turns green and I can feel satisfied that that section's done. I can have a visual indicator of the different sections that are done or not. And then I also added a teleprompter, which is nice, just to say, like, oh, add a play button that will open up a teleprompter and then it will auto scroll. That's one of the things that would just have taken much longer without AI to like figure out, oh yeah, how would I do this? Like, what's the best way to do this? Should it be to animate with CSS? Is there some library to do this? And just try the first thing that it comes up with, see if that's good enough. It kind of was, but I had to make some modifications. There are big things that would take longer to figure out in the first place, but then there were a bunch of small tweaks that definitely would have added up over time. It could be like 10 minutes to tweak something to 15 minutes to tweak something, where instead that time goes down to like 1 or 2 minutes. So one of the things was, I want to add a slider to adjust the speed. I want to be able to click to pause it. I want to be able to add a scrubber so that I can go back and forth. I wanted to have different styling for mobile, so responsive styling, and also to prevent weird quirks like selecting a text field then will like zoom in on mobile. So just being able to prevent that. And I think these are things that I would have been able to figure out, but not nearly as quickly. The last prototypes, this was, again, video themed. I record a lot of video and then just end up not using it. I saw a comment that's on one of these sort of like desk setup channels where people will post videos of themselves working, things like that. I saw a comment that said like, wow, this person really set up a camera to record themselves looking like they're hard at work. Anyway, I read that and I'm like, well, that sucks because I do that all the time. So I've been recording like time lapses of these sessions. I used to record most of my workouts. I don't record my workouts all that much anymore. But I thought it would be cool to do compilations of things. So that's what this does. I don't know Python at all really, but I knew that it could work with these files. I knew that like FFmpeg is pretty powerful. I didn't know actually how powerful it was, that it could add things like noise and do different video effects. What I had to do was like look at a directory across all of the files and then pull random 1-second clips, then just concatenate those into like 15-second compilations that I can narrate over. I wanted to be comfortable enough to glance at the code and know that it's not deleting the files after it processes them. I didn't want to lose my original video files. I could at least glance at the code and see like, oh, okay, it's not going to delete my files. That would be awful. So that was the level of like code knowledge that I had and felt comfortable using this with. So yeah, those are the 10 different things that I made over the past couple weeks. If you're a product designer, now is an amazing time, because one of the objections to like coding with like these code assistants is that it makes code that you can't use for production, which means prototype code, which is great because prototypes are an amazing tool to use for designers. So yeah, definitely check it out.